Hey everybody, good afternoon. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm outside on a walk and it was raining earlier, but it stopped now and it's beautiful out. I love the smell of the rain, especially when you have nature around you and rain. So I'm just really thankful right now. And I'm sitting here thinking about, how happy I am to have the things that I have. Because it's easy to focus on the things I don't have. But why not be grateful for what we do have? Another thing I had on my mind is I'm glad I am not a product of my environment. You hear that term a lot, people being a product of their environment. You know, Sometimes the environments that we grow up in are not the best. And we don't want to continue those old habits. We want to break those chains and do something different, break generational curses. Just because your family did it doesn't mean you have to follow suit. Just because your job does something doesn't necessarily mean that you should follow suit. Just because your government says something, well, I'll stop there. But sometimes being a product of your environment isn't a good thing. But being uniquely you is a good thing. All too often we try to live up to the expectations of other people instead of listening to our own self and doing what we want to do. Like, I have a friend who is on his way to becoming a doctor, but it's not his passion. It's not what he wanted, it's what his parents wanted. So he went into the practice and now he's not happy. And he's looking at a career that is not his passion. And his passion is entertainment, and I just feel bad. I mean, I feel happy that he has a great skill and it's great to be a doctor and to help people. That's wonderful. But what's not wonderful is doing something for other people to the point where you give up your own self. Because think about how long it takes to become a doctor. You put in a lot of years, you give up a lot of your life. But it is awesome that it's for the service of others. But it has to be coming from a place that's heartfelt. That's the thing. It would be terrible to be stuck in a life that you don't want because you followed what other people said. Sometimes that's because we're a product of our environment. Other times there's many reasons, but I just found it sad that he was acting so outside of his self because he is a phenomenal person, a phenomenal musician. Shit, I can't even get the words out. And, you know, he put off his dreams for that of others. Now, who knows what would have became of it if he went another route? Maybe he could have became famous, or maybe not. And honestly, fame isn't always a good thing. I know a lot of people who are so-called famous, and they are not happy people. Most of them are not happy people, and they say that if they could stay low key, they would have stayed low key. So, you know, they're often owned by their brands. They could only do what the companies they work for say they can. So, depending on what's in their contracts. So, those type people aren't always true to their self either. So, I guess it just really depends. But my message really is be authentic to yourself. Be true to you. Do the things in life that bring, joy to your soul. Don't let people suck the life out of you. Don't do everything for other people, but nothing for yourself. Finding true knowledge of self is a long journey, and finding the gifts that you operate in could be a task that takes a lot of soul work. So put in the work, put in the soul work. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really have a specific message today other than to be authentic. Try to be the best version of yourself that you can. Life comes at us in all kinds of crazy ways, and how we react determines, that our future. So, what are you doing right now to make your tomorrow better? Are you setting yourself up for success, or are you not? So, you know, I don't know. I'm doing my best to find my authentic self because I can't say that I'm fully there, but I'm on my way. I'm constantly trying to do my shadow work these days, which is really hard because shadow work is rough and people don't like to remember the darker things that happen in their life or their flaws. People have a hard time admitting their flaws to themselves because I'm not, you know, trying to put my whole life out there, but of course I've done things in my life that I'm not proud of. I have flaws. And I work on those daily by not repeating the same mistake over and over and by making amends where I can. If I know I fucked up somewhere, if I could fix it in some way, I'm going to do that. Sometimes that's not possible, but if it is, you should do it. It's healing for your soul and it's helpful to others as well. But be authentic to you. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be authentic to myself. And because I grew up abused and I was always told that I was a piece of shit, I should have died, my mother should have aborted me, had both my parents try to unearth me, shall we say, several times throughout my life, had my mother try to molest me. I mean, I've been through some shit. I've been through some shit. But I'm not a product of my environment. I don't repeat the same stuff that happened to me because oftentimes people will repeat what happened to them in their life, even if it was bad. And I choose to be a whole different person. And that's why I try to stay kind and humble. You know, sometimes I get a little passive aggressive and I'm working on that. Because that's one of my flaws. Because sometimes I have a hard time saying no or standing up for myself. So since I don't always stand up for myself, when something makes me angry, I might get just a tiny bit snooty. You'll be like, is she being an asshole or what is that genuine? Because it's so slight, but I know it. So I'm working on that because it's for my inner growth and soul. You know, it's for me to change those bad things, well, they're not always bad things, but habits that don't benefit me. It doesn't benefit me to be passive aggressive. So I'm working on that. So doing shadow work is really important. You got to be honest with yourself. And that's hard sometimes because it's easier to blame everything else, our environment, the people around us, our circumstances. It's hard to take accountability. But take accountability. See, I have a thing where I always feel like I can't do stuff. I'm afraid of failure, partially because my mother told me I wasn't shit. So many times that it kind of stuck in me, but also because I have a learning disability. I'm dyslexic. I learn a little slower than others. I learn different than others, but I don't have a mental disability. I'm very capable of thinking and making rational decisions. It just takes me a little longer to learn sometimes. So I constantly have a doubt within myself that I can't accomplish a task because I'm not smart enough because of my disability or because my family told me I wasn't shit. So that doesn't mean I can't learn. That doesn't mean I'm any less awesome than you guys. It just makes me unique. And sometimes it's those unique things that we think are flaws that aren't really flaws. They're just learning opportunities. And other times people like those things about us because it's what makes us uniquely us. You know, it's our character. And when I say character, I don't mean a fake character, like an act, a persona. I just, you know what I mean. But being authentic to self is so important. And I'm really trying to find me and I'm learning to love me and know myself because I've had a hard time through parts of my life loving my own self because I temporarily believed the things of other people and allowed it to weigh me down to where I actually felt like I wasn't shit. Like I was feeling like I had no purpose on this earth, when that's simply not true. Whew. I have to remind myself that I am worthy of happiness too, because sometimes I'll beat myself up because I feel like I don't deserve happiness because I'm not as far along in my life as I should be. And that's kind of wacky thinking. So I'm catching that, saying, all right, I might be a little slow, but I'm not incapable of learning. I'm not dumb. I'm not ignorant. So now I have to work on these things. Once you become self-aware, it's up to you and you're held accountable. Once you know, you can't unknow. So you got to hold yourself accountable. So do your shadow work. It's hard, but it's worth it. Love yourself. Find your passions. Know that you don't have to be a product of anything you don't want to be. Just know that you are worthy and you are loved. Even if you don't always feel that way, you are. There are many people in the world who really think a lot of you, believe it or not. Because sometimes we think that we've made no impact on anybody's life, when you don't know that. Could have been a smile one day. It might have impacted somebody's life greatly. They might have been having a fucking terrible day, and that smile helped uplift them. Small shit like that. Or it could be something big. But I just want you guys to continue working on your personal growth. Like I'm walking in my personal path on my way to my personal growth, and I'm sharing it with you. We're on the same somewhat journey together. Different experiences, but the same soul house, you know? So anyways, I am just rambling on, and you're probably tired of listening to me talk. So I'm going to cut this video here and just say you're awesome. You are amazing. You have purpose. You're here for a reason. And don't give up. All right, you guys. I love you all. Peace. And welcome to the apocalypse.